Alright guys, I just got home from a pretty intense leg workout. So what we're gonna do is, this is your intro. We are going to talk about the CJRB Ria after I take a shower. Just got home. Yes, I am wearing this. If you're working out, I'm gonna tell you right now, this actually does. It keeps your beard from getting all over the place. But we're gonna talk about this little guy. That little guy right there? Don't worry about that little guy right there. So let me go take a shower and get my tripod and everything set up. And if you're watching on headphones, here comes music. So guys, welcome back. So this is the CJRB Ria. It is a small little pocket knife. It's along the lines of the size of a traditional slip joint folder, but it is a frame or a liner lock flipper, thumb stud flipper, with some really good action and some really good points, and it's an amazing little knife. This knife was not sent to me necessarily to review the knife. This was sent to me to review the steel. It's the same steel that my knife is in. So this is going to be two videos today. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about this knife. And I am going to shoot a video about the steel because I know there's a lot of questions out there about the AR RPM 9. So I'm going to try in a fashion that does not disclose the actual composition and things like that. We'll do its own video about that, and I'm just trying to figure out how I'm gonna say it. So let's take a good close look at this. We'll get the camera turned around. I'll get some specs and stuff like that, and we'll get it put up, and we'll just take a good hard look at it. I really do like this knife a lot. It's one of those knives that kind of hits way above its weight class. When you find out, like, I mean, sure you guys already know, a lot of you already know the price of this knife. When you look at the price versus what you get in hand, it's pretty awesome. So let's go ahead, get everything set up. I'll get some specs for you. We'll get it all put up and laid out so that we can get a good video of it. All right, guys. So this is the CJRB Ria. Now, I have been carrying this a lot. So what you're looking at is a small little knife, small little package with micarta scales, steel liners. Believe they're steel liners. I will definitely make sure, but with a nice blade shape in a steel that I really like. So let's go ahead. Give me a second. I will let you know that, this is not the pocket clip you're going to see on them. This is a different style pocket clip. I do like this pocket clip better, but right now I'll pause this. I will put up a picture of the actual pocket clip. So, yeah, nice scalpel-shaped blade, thumb stud opener. The action on it is incredible. It doesn't take much. If you get your thumb down on it, it flies open. It's not one of those ones that you can slow roll. It's not one of the ones that you're gonna like, see, I was trying to slow roll it and it still came open. So, let's look at the specs on this. So some specs on this, you're looking at a blade length of 3 inches. Let me get this, switch hands here. 3-inch blade length with an overall length of 6.75 inches. Micarta scales with a blade thickness of 0.1 inch and a weight of 2.2 ounces. But I don't always trust the weights that are listed online. So we will get my scale out. Let's get the scale turned on. And it's still in grams. So let's do ounces first. They say it's 2.2, and it's showing just right at 2 ounces. So my scale's not as accurate. In grams, you're looking at 58 grams. So now we got the specs out of the way. Let's do some fun stuff. Let's talk about the actual knife. This little knife does amazing at so many tasks, because if you look at the blade shape, it's a scalpel shape. I mean, that is a scalpel shaped blade. Now, I've used this knife for pretty much everything that you would want to use it for. The micarta is not super polished. It's still nice and coarse on that burlap micarta. They have this color listed as green. I really don't see it as being green. I see it more of a tan. But you know, it also has gotten pretty dirty in use. Action on it, like I said, is it's an amazing little flipper. But it's also in a shape that would allow itself to be used really easily for outdoor stuff. This would be a nice small game knife. I have not actually skinned anything with it, but I have done some stuff around the house that would equate to that. I've trimmed fat on some meat that we were going to cook. I've cut steak with it. I've cut pork with it. I have opened everything I could find with it, and so it's a pretty robust little knife. It looks small, and you would like. There's no real play in that at all. And I had a little play in this before because it does get used a lot, and all I did was tighten the pivot down a little bit more, got rid of the blade plate. Does not affect the action at all. Action on it, super smooth. It does run on bearings. You can see that there's a bearing race in there. And I've gotten managed to get some schmutz and stuff down in here. At first, when I first looked at this, I had some of it on there. I thought it was rust. It's actually just nastiness. I thought, oh, I finally got this steel to rust. No, I haven't yet. I have used this knife to do some things you probably shouldn't do with it. I pried some staples out of some wood just to see how robust the tip on this was. Nice transition, and the finish on it is great. I really do like this knife a lot. It's pretty hard not to carry because it is so versatile and useful. It's one of the first knives I've gotten in a long time that is one of those ones that, like, yeah, I could use this for everything. Like, this could be a daily driver and not carry anything else. And I was shaking my head, and I did the same motion with the knife. So when you see this means that I'm shaking my head. The tang is kind of the scales are kind of redacted around, so you get that nice shiny look of those polished liners. There is holes. There have been holes taken out of it to reduce weight. It does have a spot to put a lanyard if you so choose, so you're not just going to have to tie it around there. Like I said, everything about this knife so far is really speaking to me. So a quick note on the steel. So give me a second and I'll give you a quick note on the steel. So I want to save most of the steel stuff for the actual video, but I know that there's some people that are going to watch this and not the steel video. So this isn't a steel called AR RPM 9. It's the same steel my knife is getting released in. This has already been released. As a matter of fact, I believe it's sold out on Blade HQ. This knife is done in a proprietary steel. Now, they have not released the composition yet because it's really hard to safeguard some of those things in China. So what they're doing is they are going to find a way to get some protection under some sort of copyright laws so that they can release this steel. So now this steel is really similar to several other steels. I talked with Nick Shabazz about this. He was asking me about the steel. I do know the composition. I can't tell you, but I can tell you it's really similar to a steel that got released a long time ago by Spyderco, which was a really good steel, but this is done in a powdered metallurgy. And so what you get is a much finer grain structure, much crisper edge, less issues with sharpening. So let me give you some quick ideas about it. So it sharpens a lot like Aus 8. It holds an edge more akin to somewhere in the range of like 154 cm or CPM 154 cm or RWL 34. But then it has some other things that it does that makes it a little different. So it sharpens like, I guess you could say S35BN or Aus 8, like Cold Steel's old Aus 8 that was really good. But the way it holds an edge is really good. And the fact of the matter is that when you strop this, you can pretty much get this dull and then take a strop and bring it right back up pretty much to where it was. This has been getting stropped a lot. I've done a lot of testing on different strops. The material here seems to strop really well on newspaper. So there you have an affordable option. This is only an 800 grit edge. I did touch it up. It does like being touched up on an ultrafine ceramic. which is one of those things, like usually ultra fine ceramic does not have enough horsepower to bring an edge back up, but this stuff seems to really like being touched up on an ultra fine ceramic or a ceramic rod. Between that and stropping, very little need to go back and sharpen as often, unless you're really cutting through some heavy duty stuff. So that's just a note on the steel. Really corrosion resistant. I have not really washed it off until like a couple days ago. I thought I saw a patina starting to form, and I was wrong. I have cut everything you can imagine with this, and it has not patinaed. I even got some ferric chloride that you normally would etch steel with on this, and it didn't really stain it. It looked like it did at first, and I was able to wash it off. This is a very good steel, in my opinion. I'm not just saying it because my knives are being made in it. I'm saying that I'm letting my knives be made in it because it's a very good steel. So let's get back to the actual knife. All the hardware, nice and polished. The thumb stud is, I will say, for a lot of people that I've talked to, they think that the thumb stud needed to be a little taller, but when you realize that you don't have to flip out, it's not like you're doing a Sabenza. If you just put some pressure on it, I mean like downward pressure, if you just put some pressure on that, it flies open. So I don't think that they really need to worry so much about changing the thumb stud. I think what happens is people are going to realize that the deployment method is a little different. So there's a good close look at that burlap micarta or canvas micarta. I mean, they're both, it's great. They did a great job on this micarta. I do like the fact a lot of times people will take micarta and they try and polish it and get it like, it does look good that way, and in some applications that's fine, but this just coarse micarta is definitely something for the outdoorsman. This will get wet and it will not get slippery. Matter of fact, I had this all wet the other day, and if anything, your grip just increased. The fibers swell up a little bit. So you get that contrast between the highly finished liners and then this fairly coarsely finished micarta, and it gives it a really cool rustic aesthetic. Say it right. Say it with me, Mike. Aesthetic. So it is dirty. It is dirty. This knife has gotten carried a ton. The only real thing that I can say that I see on this knife is there's that one screw right there that's a little proud. But in no way, shape, or form is it even close to hitting the blade, because it's well below where the blade travel is. And I think I'm going to have to Loctite the pivot, because it does, I mean, does it work loose easily? No, but in daily use, as much as I've been using it, it has come loose a little bit. So let's go ahead and turn this around. I'll give you guys some final thoughts. And I will check on the liner material. So the liner material is steel. These are polished steel liners. Final thoughts on this. Okay, this is one of those things where we are now in that realm of I've found another knife. As a matter of fact, I've found several knives here recently that are in that price range from $30 on up to where you start getting into the high end stuff, that are meeting that requirement that you're just not seeing coming from anywhere else. So there's a lot of people that like to say, don't buy Chinese, and then, oh, Chinese knives, this and that, Chinese knives are garbage. But the fact is, at the price point for this, which is the $50 mark, it's a $50 knife, you're not going to find an American knife that is this nice. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, you really aren't. You can find some bucks and things like that, but newsflash, a lot of buck stuff is now being done offshore. You have some other knives like Case and things like that, but this really is just a knife that really fits that niche market. And the fact that it's only $50 means that now here's another one of those incredibly nice knives at a really decent price point that they're just killing it. And I'm telling you right now, so this knife is 50, hang on a second, can I read it from here? This knife is $54, or was $54 on Blade HQ. MSRP is $75. If you gave me this knife and told me that this was a $170 knife, I'd buy it all day, twice on Sunday. Or I would say that, yeah, it's definitely worth that. It is absolutely worth more than you're paying for it, but they're not charging you more for it. So this is another one of those knives that falls in that, holy crap, it's hitting well above its weight class. Action is cool. If you're into fidgeting, it is fun. It's got a nice snap to it. It's got really, really smooth action. If you're into it just be for an outdoors type thing, yeah, absolutely. It would be perfect. Like if you, like I said, if you were, say, doing some outside trapping and things like that. I just can't see a reason not to have it. I honestly can't. And if I was told that I had to return this back to Artisan, I would probably go ahead and take some of my own money and buy one now that I've had one. I don't think that if any of you bought this knife, you'd be disappointed. I really, really like it. I am impressed with some of these new designs that are coming out that are like this. Higher quality materials, still maintaining a smaller price point. I'm sorry guys, if you see it, I'm sweating through my shirt. It is hot in this kitchen. Wow. But yeah, I just can't tell you how much I like it. I will tell you that I was told by Artisan that this pocket clip might be an option that you can purchase as an add-on where it would fit all of their other 2-screw pocket clips. I honestly don't think that I would like the pocket clip that you saw in the picture as much as I like this one. But even that pocket clip on that knife, if you look at that picture, it's still pretty attractive. It's a pretty nice looking pocket clip. I just think that I like this one better. If anything though, I kind of wish I could just take the pocket clip clear off. That would be my only other gripe. This pocket clip screw is part of the actual assembly. It screws into this standoff. And so with that standoff, with it screwing into that standoff, you really can't take it off because then you'll have slack in your assembly, in the liners and stuff like that. You'll have a gap. So I think that this would be a really nice, just gentleman's pocket carry that you could carry without a pocket clip. It looks a lot like that. I really can't tell you how much I like this knife. It's really hard to describe. This knife has spent the last, well, that's basically 3 weeks in my pocket constantly. I'm having to make room for it all over the place because I carry it when I'm carrying other things. It's making it hard to carry some of the stuff that's in for review. But yeah, not to keep pontificating, guys. Like I said, CJRB Ria. I will tell you this. This is one of those knives that first time in a long time that for me, this is a 10 out of 10. Like if I was to give knives a 10 out of 10 score, this would be one of them. This one, every bit as nice as this one, which is another surprising, I think I said that this was another surprising 10 out of 10 for me because I'm not a fan of karambits. So guys, that's it. Other videos coming. The giveaway will be, today is the 31st, I believe. Is today the 31st? Today's the 31st. Tomorrow I will announce the giveaway for this. There will be an actual giveaway announcement. You have to be a premium tier member to win this. I'm going to put this up tomorrow to be available to be given away to the premium tier members, and I'm going to give it, I think I was thinking 2 weeks for everybody to enter. That way if there's somebody that wants to join, you can kind of see what's going on. I hand ground this knife myself. I actually made this knife a long time ago and never got around to actually finishing it. It was forged out of a railroad spike, but now it's been finished and I did a full convex grind on it, and I'm gonna give it to you guys because I'm tired of looking at it. So that being said, guys, stuff in the corners. If you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down. I found a new channel that I'm going to link. You will see that later when you see the stuff in the corners. So guys, I love you all. Take it easy, and I will see you next time.